grip, and then they just shoot past your legs, and you don't even have a chance to start your retention series because your guards pass right away. Okay, so just understand seated versus loose passing. You have to understand what stances your partner's playing and what distance they're playing at. All right, and if you can start to read this and adjust accordingly, you can start to go into kazushis and then off balances, and eventually you're on attacks. All right, and again, I talked about this for hours on the seated instructional, but we're just breezing over it right now because it is important for retention purposes. All right, let's talk a little bit about the grip fighting battle. Okay, because again, the winner of this exchange, seated versus loose passing, is all going to stem from the initial grip fighting battle. Okay, if she's seated like so, if I can dominate the grip fighting battle, starting at the head, the hands, and the ankles, I'm going to win. I'm going to achieve my goals, splitting the legs, outflanking her, or putting her on her back. Okay. If I start playing at the head and playing at the wrist, I start playing here, I start feinting with the lead leg, I can step inside and I can achieve that goal of splitting the legs. If I come in here and she's not hand fighting adequately and we come through, we grab the ankles, we can put her back on the floor and start our passing, and now we're in the driver's seat. If she's standing square and from here we're grip fighting and I'm winning all the grip fighting exchanges, I can start pulling the head, I can start coming in here, I can go to the knees, I can start outflanking my partner. Okay? So you have to understand that everything starts from the grip fighting exchanges. So if she's standing over me and we're here, I'm always looking to make some kind of contact with my partner. What she wants, everything's gonna be moving quickly from here. So as I go to reach for her hands, she pulls the hands away. As I go to reach for the legs, she reaches the legs away. As I go to reach, she reaches over and she grabs the collar tie, she posts my shoulder, she starts moving me around, and now, again, she can move quickly from here. So you have to understand that as far as retention goes, you can't give your partner everything they want. You can't let them pull in the head, you can't let them shoot into underhooks. And then you have to also understand that at any time, they can switch from passing loosely to passing tight, all right? And this is where the real issue comes in. Because now, you're playing here, you're looking about grip fighting going into your attack, and then your partner shoots into an underhook, now she shoots into a body lock, and now you're forced into half guard, and now you're dealing with a whole different situation here. And you have to understand that this is a possibility, okay? So everything starts, retention-wise, with tight elbows, concave shoulders, with my shoulders in front of my hips, and my stance adjusting accordingly to my partner's stance. So if she's square, I play here. What I can't do is have elbows like this, okay? You see all the time, guys take underhooks and knee slide. You see body locks come into place. You saw it a million times last weekend when Nikki, or last weekend now, not when you're watching this, when Yuri competed against Nicky Rod, and he was playing here, Nicky Rod just locked his hands at will in body locks. Okay, you have to understand that they can go from loose to tight passing and then drop to the dime. Okay, so my whole thing is to be to win the grip fighting exchanges from here, create contact with my partner, and get my feet in between her knees. Okay, so as she gets to start grip fighting with me, what I can't have is a situation where she's pushing my shoulders behind my hips. Now she's splitting my legs and she's putting my back on the floor, and now she's starting to win this battle and get closer and closer to her guard passes. Okay, for just purely retention purposes, again, I want to stay seated. She can't control my head and my shoulders and pin them on the floor, and she can't achieve the goal that she wants. Okay, she has to put my back on the floor before she starts passing me. Okay, she can't get my feet to point away from her, and she can't control my head, my head and shoulders. So whenever she goes to start grip fighting with me, I'm always clearing grips and re-gripping. I'm always here, I'm always clearing grip, and now I come in and I start making contact with my partner. Okay, again, there's another hour on grip fighting in the seated versus or the seated guard instructional, but we're just brushing over here for retention. Okay, we can't be in a situation where she just dominates all the grips. Go ahead. She just dominates all the grips, and now she starts outflanking me and she beats me from here. The whole time she gets to start passing me and I'm seated. Go ahead. And now I have contact, and we can go into all of our follow-ups from there. You have to understand what stance your partner's playing, the distance they're playing at, and you have to understand that everything that you're going to be doing stems from the grip fighting battle. If you can win the grip fighting exchanges, you're never going to get your guard passed, and you can be able to go to follow-up attacks. Okay, you're going to be in the driver's seat. But if your partner dominates the grip binding exchanges, they're going to dominate the match. All right, so again, there's going to be a million different things that your partner can do from here, but we're going to look at keeping the inside foot position, recovering the inside foot position when your partner splits the legs, and then what can we do when our partner outflanks us. So let's look at some of the options when our partner goes to step the legs inside. How can we maintain the inside foot position? Okay. The first thing is if my partner's square, like so, I always want to be in a situation where I have the least amount of space possible between my knees open and my heels and my butt open. Okay. So what I don't want is a situation where I'm just like this. There's a lot of space between my knees, and there's a lot of space between my heels and my butt. There's a huge gap here for my partner to step inside. So I always want to play in a situation where if I'm square, I play like so. Okay. Where now there's a relatively small amount of space between my heel and my butt. And at any point when my partner goes to step inside, I can close the space between my two knees. Okay, so now when my partner goes to step inside, it's very difficult from here. Okay, when I play staggered, I play with my lead leg monitoring my partner's lead foot. So at any point I can come into a situation where I bring my foot in like so. Okay, what I can't have is just a situation where I'm like this. My partner goes to step inside with maybe some grip fighting and she moves inside. Okay, so I can always keep my feet inside by playing like this. Okay, so now as my partner goes to step inside, you see I move in like so. So we play in a relaxed position. Now as my partner goes to step in, we can play here. As my partner goes to step in, we can play here. And I'm always taking away this space between my heels and my butt, my knees coming together. My partner wants to do is to split my legs. So the closer my knees are, the harder it'll be. The easier it will be for her to outflank me, but the harder it's going to be for her to split my two legs. And the same goes with heels to butt. The closer my heels are to my butt, the harder it's going to be for her to step inside. So when she goes to step inside, we play here. When she goes to step inside, we play here. We have some kind of contact. As long as I have space between her shoelaces and my butt, separated by a leg, I'm going to be in good position. So as she goes to step in, I block with one leg. As she goes to step in, I block with one leg. If we're staggered, as she goes to step in, I block with a foot. And I move in and I connect. As she goes to step in, I block with the leg. And I replace it with a second leg. And now I have 2 feet inside. Okay? So I'm always looking to maintain the inside foot position. There's a million ways you can do this. We looked at it in the seated guard instructional. Right? But when she initially goes to walk in, if I have the inside foot position, there's no way she can pass my guard. So talk about strictly retention, not even follow-up attacks. Maintain the inside foot position. So whenever she goes to step inside, when she goes to start her guard passing, she wants to either outflank me or she wants to step inside. When she goes to step inside, go ahead. Okay, move around a little bit. And you see, I always bring my feet. I always keep my feet inside and I have sticky hooks. Okay? If she can't step her foot inside, there's going to be little she can do with guard passing from here. Okay? So these are some ways that you can keep your feet inside, but working with a thought in mind of always taking away the space between your heels and your butt and your 2 knees together. When your partner goes to step in, it's always we move from here, good, to here. Now we're in close like so. Now we can bring 2 feet inside. If we're square, when she goes to step in, we always go here. I never stay with splayed legs when she goes to step in. Because now if she pommels her foot over, she can step to a hamstring. Now she has legs inside. Even if she pommels over my legs, when she goes to step into the hamstring, it makes it hard. I can always pommel feet back to the inside. Okay? If my legs are splayed open and she beats this initial foot like so, she can come in and have space between. Now she goes to step in, I can always replace with one leg or the other. Or even if she does beat me because my knees are close together, I can always move to a given side and pommel legs inside like so before my partner shuffles me down. Okay? So I'm always closing the space between my heels and my butt and my two knees. Whenever she goes to step in, it's always here, 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 here. So I can always keep my 2 feet inside of my partner's knees. If you have 2 feet inside your partner's knees, you're going to be in the driver's seat because you have the inside position. She can't pass you, and you can start to go into follow-up attacks with any Ashigarami X-guard variations that you like. All right, let's talk about recovering the inside foot position when our partner steps to the inside. Okay, because again, when we're seated and she's standing, as far as just for tension purposes goes, if she steps a foot to the inside, she's closer to a pass. Okay, so our partner has a choice of stepping in 3 different positions. She can use her foot to step to a position where she has the inside foot and she's directly in the center. She can use her inside foot to step to a hamstring on either side with either a cross hamstring or straight hamstring. Okay, so talk about this. We spoke about this in the passing instructional. She can go directly in the center. She can go cross hamstring, where she takes a cross step to my hamstring like so, or she can go straight across with a straight hamstring and she can step straight in. Okay, so again, many different options from here, but your goal is to recover the inside foot position, however you have to. All right. Some of the ways that we can do this: she steps inside. If she goes right to the middle, okay, this is something a naive person would do, because now there's no reason why I can't pommel one leg back inside. So you're here, you can make initial contact, then you can pommel a second leg in, extract, and then you have 2 feet to the inside. She goes to step in, I can pommel a foot inside, now I have feet to the inside. All right. So if she goes right to the middle, okay, there's no reason why I can't just pommel back shin to shin, okay, because there's so much space between her leg, her shoelaces, and my butt from here. Okay, there's all this space where now I can easily just pommel a leg to the inside and make contact and go into my follow-up attacks. The issue starts to come